Bothering my kid? Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
When Joker first arrived on screens, it was more than just a movie. It was an emotional earthquake that redefined what comic book films could be. Instead of heroes and flashy battles, it gave audiences something raw, unsettling, and deeply human. The film focused on the man behind the makeup, Arthur Fleck, exploring the painful transformation that would eventually give birth to one of the most infamous characters in cinema history. This wasn't a story about superpowers or gadgets, it was a story about society, pain, and the fragile line between sanity and madness. Set in a grim and decaying Gotham City, Joker paints a world that mirrors the struggles of the forgotten and broken. Arthur Fleck, a struggling clown and aspiring stand-up comedian, lives a life of isolation and rejection. Every day is a battle against loneliness, poverty, and mental illness. He takes care of his sick mother, dreams of being loved, and desperately tries to find meaning in a city that seems to have none. The beauty of the film lies in how it turns an ordinary man's suffering into a haunting reflection of modern society, a world where empathy has vanished, and people like Arthur are invisible until they finally snap. Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur Fleck is one of the most powerful in film history. He completely disappears into the role, portraying Arthur's transformation into the Joker with terrifying precision and heartbreaking vulnerability. Every movement, every twitch, every laugh feels authentic and painful. His physical transformation, losing weight, twisting his body into awkward postures, shows the toll that both life and madness have taken on him. The character's infamous laugh isn't just sinister. It's tragic, coming from a neurological condition that makes him laugh uncontrollably at inappropriate times. That laugh, echoing through the film, becomes a symbol of his descent, a sound of pain disguised as comedy. What makes the story so gripping is that it doesn't excuse Arthur's violence, but it helps us understand it. The film carefully shows how repeated humiliation, neglect, and cruelty can crush a person's spirit until there's nothing left but anger. Arthur's slow breakdown feels disturbingly real. Every rejection pushes him closer to the edge, and when society turns its back completely, the mask finally comes off. The moment Arthur fully becomes the Joker isn't about triumph, it's about surrender. It's the point where he stops trying to be accepted and starts embracing the chaos that has always surrounded him. The direction captures Gotham as more than just a setting, it's a character in itself. The city feels suffocating, dirty, and unforgiving, with flickering lights and trash-filled streets symbolizing the decay of humanity. The cinematography uses muted tones and long, silent shots that make the viewer feel Arthur's loneliness. Even the music amplifies the unease, with haunting cello notes that reflect the tension bubbling inside him. The score builds like a heartbeat, slow and heavy, as if the city itself is breathing alongside Arthur's madness. As the film unfolds, we see moments that define Arthur's transformation. He is beaten on the streets, mocked during his comedy performance, and betrayed by those he trusts. The final blow comes when his idol, talk show host Murray Franklin, ridicules him on national television. That moment of public humiliation becomes the spark that ignites everything. Arthur no longer sees himself as a victim, he becomes a symbol, a figure of rebellion in a society on the brink of collapse. The chaos that follows isn't just Arthur's doing. It's the city's collective rage erupting through him. The performance that Joaquin Phoenix delivers is hauntingly immersive. His eyes carry both innocence and danger, constantly reminding the audience that Arthur wasn't born a monster, he was made into one. The transformation scene where he dances in front of a mirror, dressed in full clown makeup, is unforgettable. It's eerie yet mesmerizing, symbolizing his complete rebirth as the Joker. From that point on, Arthur no longer tries to hide who he is. The dance on the stairs, now one of the most iconic scenes in cinema, represents his liberation from society's cruelty, a madman celebrating his own destruction. When the film was released, it sparked global discussion. Some saw it as a masterpiece that dared to explore uncomfortable truths. Others worried it glorified violence. But what everyone agreed on was that it left a lasting impact. It forced audiences to confront difficult questions about how society treats the mentally ill, the poor, and the invisible. It wasn't about justifying Arthur's actions, it was about understanding the world that created him. The movie turned the Joker from a comic book villain into a mirror reflecting real human pain. The film's success went beyond critical acclaim. It broke box office records and became one of the most successful R-rated films ever made. Audiences around the world connected with its raw honesty, even when it made them uncomfortable. Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, a recognition that felt more than deserved. His acceptance speech echoed the film's message of compassion and empathy, urging people to understand rather than judge. Behind the camera, the director crafted a story that blended realism with symbolism. Every scene was designed to feel intimate and unsettling. The lighting often isolates Arthur, surrounding him with shadows that grow darker as his mind unravels. The script's dialogue is minimal but powerful, letting silence speak louder than words. It's a slow burn of emotion where tension builds until it finally explodes. The film also pays tribute to classic cinema, drawing inspiration from old character studies and psychological dramas. Yet it still feels completely original. The idea of turning a well-known comic villain into a tragic anti-hero was risky, but it paid off in a way no one expected. The story doesn't follow the usual superhero formula. It strips everything down to one man's personal battle against a world that refuses to see him. One of the most haunting aspects of the movie is how it blurs the line between reality and imagination. Throughout the film, it's often unclear what's real and what exists only in Arthur's mind. His relationship with his neighbor, for example, is revealed to be a fantasy, reminding the audience how deep his isolation truly runs. This dreamlike confusion adds to the sense of madness, showing how easily the mind can distort pain into delusion. The climax of the film, where Arthur appears on live television as the Joker, is one of the most shocking moments in modern cinema. In that instant, he fully embraces chaos, delivering a chilling monologue about hypocrisy and cruelty. What follows is both horrifying and symbolic. The city erupts into violence, and Arthur becomes the accidental face of a movement. The image of him standing on a police car, surrounded by flames and cheering crowds, captures the essence of what the film is about: a broken man turned into a symbol of rebellion by a broken society. After its release, Joker became more than just a movie. It became a cultural phenomenon. It inspired discussions about art, responsibility, and mental health. Some viewers saw it as a cautionary tale, while others viewed it as a dark reflection of modern alienation. Its impact reached far beyond cinema, influencing conversations in psychology, politics, and popular culture. Joaquin Phoenix's dedication to the role has become the stuff of legend. He spent months preparing, studying psychological disorders and the effects of loneliness. His physical transformation and emotional vulnerability made his portrayal one of the most unforgettable in film history. Many called it one of the greatest performances ever seen on screen. Even years later, the legacy of Joker continues. It proved that comic book adaptations can be serious art, capable of exploring the darkest corners of human emotion. It opened the door for more bold and unconventional storytelling within the superhero genre, where morality isn't black and white and villains can sometimes reveal more truth than heroes. The film's ending leaves viewers with more questions than answers. When Arthur sits in the psychiatric ward laughing uncontrollably, it's unclear whether the events we witnessed were real or imagined. That uncertainty is the point. It forces us to think, to question what's real in our own world. The final image of him walking down the hallway, leaving bloody footprints behind, is both chilling and poetic, a reminder that once innocence is lost, there's no going back. Joker is not an easy film to watch, but it's impossible to forget. It stays with you long after it ends, echoing in your thoughts like Arthur's unsettling laugh. It challenges audiences to look deeper not at the villain on screen, but at the world that makes villains possible. It's a masterpiece of emotion, art, and storytelling that stands as one of the most defining films of its generation. And even as time passes, Joker continues to speak to new audiences, people who see in Arthur's story the reflection of a world that too often forgets to care. It reminds us that beneath every mask, there's a story, and behind every smile, there can be unimaginable pain. It's a movie that dares to ask, what happens when laughter is the only way left to survive in a world that never laughs back? A world that never laughs back.